places around Lake Tahoe are legendary. But this fall, new ones will emerge in the Tahoe Basin. Pullman, Moe, Gushu, and more. November 4th through 9th, the Grand Slam of Curling's first ever event in the U.S. is coming to Lake Tahoe, where the greatest rock stars on earth unite for 6 days of incredible curling, celebrity appearances, and après curl parties you won't want to miss. Get your tickets at thegrandslamofcurling.com. Let's rock.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sault Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport. Go there to get anywhere.
Hello, curling fans, and welcome to the evening draw here at Sault Ste. Marie. This is the quarterfinal match between Dunstone and Van Amsterdam. This is Gord Copperthorne coming to you with Sean Joyce again. Sean, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good. This is what everybody waits for, right? 18 teams started out. You're looking for 8 spots in the playoffs, and here we go, quarterfinals. A little unusual that we're playing this on Saturday night, so just the semis and the finals to go tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Dunstone's probably happy to be on the ice, though. he's had a long wait.
Yeah, the joy of winning the A side is you tend to get a lot of lunch break. All right, well, they're off to a quick and effective start. In guard, guard. No rest for the wicked, as we've seen all weekend.
Yeah, you and I, Gord, were talking about this earlier on in the event. It's one of those situations. Van Amsterdam came through the C. Dunstone came through the A. Dunstone knows he's got the playoff spot, but you hate having that long wait. He hasn't played since Friday night. Late Friday night, I guess.
I noticed this morning, the ice changed a bit, too.
A little bit, but, not the way you'd necessarily expect. The long layoff has always been a bit of an issue. We see it here. I do playdowns out of Saskatchewan every year, and the A event qualifier has a bit of a wait before the Page playoff. And they do condition the rocks, sand the rocks, whatever term you choose to use. They do it before the event, and sometimes they will straighten out just a little bit as play continues. And a team like Van Amsterdam here, who has continued to play through the C, has adjusted to that because they've been playing while they've been getting a little bit straighter. Well, what we saw this morning, it was curling just as much as it was Thursday night. In fact, in spots, and that might have been the sheet we were on, it was maybe seeming like it was curling a little bit more. So the rocks are holding up nicely, and Dunstone will be happy for that at least.
I hear you there. Should also make for the game to be a little bit more interesting, picking up that extra half rock of curl. So as you can see, they're playing that around the guard kind of tappy stuff, whereas, say, Friday morning, it was freezing around the guard. So a little more traditional, you might say.
Yep. It is a long guard.
So we are on the clock, as you've pointed out a few times. So the teams can't waste anything. We also have all the rules that support more rocks in play. So, not a lot of time to waste thinking, but the two teams are going after each other quick and fast and right at the start. A little bit of a gaff there.
Yeah.
Gives Evan an opportunity to peel the guard and play defensive, or go in the house and play offensive.
That would have shocked me in the first end. That's a it's great if you can make the rings, but it's real tough, and then you're trying to hold a force for a long time against a team that is probably just eventually going to duck around the guard anyway.
So beat them to the punch, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Evan and friends are saying, you know what, let's park this in the top 4 and make Dunstone earn anything he can. Nice easy sweep coming down here. Getting a little crazier. Now, this is the path they use in the pregame draw, so it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone.
It is, and I didn't watch the full practice, but there is a little bit of a difference here because we're at the playoffs now. Hammer was determined by the seeding, so they might have thrown some different paths in practice.
This is fair. You don't have to worry about draw to the button for Hammer. You can learn a different path. Some of the subtleties of the pregame practice that people often forget. So we're still just dancing around the center gird. As you said, it's pretty darn high, so there's plenty of room to get by. Never going to roll under when they're mostly buried, but still staying at least a corner tucked. I was thinking, hey, I can tuck a little bit more of a corner here, so
Should be able to. Looks like he should be able to anyway. Just based on that last one.
So we've seen a lot of play with that kind of 11.5. Some people might call board weight hitting, because that's the only way you're getting a curl out of these sheets, right?
Yeah, you start throwing anything heavier and they will straighten right out. This one actually is running a little straight too. He did have a fairly pronounced pop on it.
Clears the guard by a couple 3 inches. Still makes the yellow go away, so half points, no roll. Little crack, little opportunity. Dunstone's now going to try his tap of the wrist. Let's see, in his world, what's that? Board, hack, somewhere in that ballpark. Every team's got their own nuances of how to call weight.
Yeah, hack's usually lower. It's near heel usually.
Yeah, lift your foot and tap your ankle. Colton Lott here with his attempt at the little roll. With the Harden brothers helping get it there. That's never a bad problem to have. Ryan trying to walk it over. Still clearing the guard by plenty of space. And we got, yet again, quarter rock hidden. Kind of creeping up in the house, though. When does that come in to be an issue?
Well, on the very next one, Van Amsterdam can hit it again, but even if he rolls open now, I don't think Dunstone can hit and roll under and be shot. And we're getting late enough in the end where it kind of matters who's shot.
Correct.
He might, this is one where you might want to make sure you roll open. If you stay staggered, he might come around from the other side.
Sure, and then you don't have rock position to make use of. Yeah, it'd be kind of nice if you had your whole rock to use in your next one, right?
Yeah.
That said, they are sure trying to carve this. But they don't have nose yet, so that makes sense. All right, there you go. Kind of staying in front. Opportunity to roll shot, though, I suspect.
Yeah, I think with that much he can roll shot, he could actually roll big, too, which would probably be the preference if you could make it.
Sure, then you're over under your corner. You get a little bit of backing. You're definitely shot. That's a lot of upside.
If you're a little thin, you're probably into that green one anyway. You just can't be so thin that you're going to roll out. That's the only thing you have to protect against here.
All right, here we go. Here's our attempt at it. Once again, the Harden brothers managing line. Got EJ on and off, so it's got to be close. Switching gears, go for a little curve. Where do they park it? All the way over, all the way over. Excellent shot. All objectives met. Brilliant shot.
Yeah, just a little 7-foot roll dead behind cover. That's
Partially covering the other one. Like, well, how much more could you ask for? It's not even Christmas yet. All right, so what's Evan's answer?
He's going to play the run. This is not without risk.
Any value in a draw?
Probably not. Tough to make the draw to the corner. And the draw around the center, we've seen all end how, because that guard's so high, it's pretty easy to get to.
So, run sounds like the next best option.
Yeah, I don't think he could ever dead jam on the green and leave it there. So, as long as he kills something yellow here, he's okay.
As long as
Watch
yellow
it,
goes away.
watch it.
Here it goes, here it goes.
Oh.
Bang, bang, like a script.
I was afraid that was going to curl and he was going to prove me wrong. I get accused of the announcer's jinx every once in a while.
Put it in the universe and it's going to happen. I get that status. But instead, he puts 2 yellows in the corner just as he called it.
I still don't think
Roll
from that
his front
angle.
a little.
Yeah, from that angle, I don't think if he misses the first yellow, like he could kill the green, but I don't think
Sure.
the yellow would have stuck. I think it would have rolled out.
I won't argue with you on that one. Not that I argue with you on a lot of things, but hey, I still won't miss one. All right, so is Dunstone going to keep a shooter, or is this just clean up the house?
The guard is moved over just a little bit because he did hit it just a shade off nose, so there's probably room to get a little bit of a flop to the inside, I would think. Now this is the other side of the sheet. We'll see if it curls as much over here as the outturn side was.
Well, the sweepers aren't really liking this. Walk it. All right, they're on to it. Yeah, they managed to keep it in play. Doesn't make Evans' shot hard, but it does force him to play out in the wings. Keeps things safe. All right, so I'm not sure. There's value in the roll. It's probably the best way to get a force.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Short roll, 1.5 feet. That's easy compared to that 7-footer in the run back.
Yeah, nothing's easy at the outside of the 12-foot. I mean, there's been stats out for years, and I've talked about it on the year before, that the minute you get the broom outside the edge of the 8-foot, even these top players in the world, there's a noticeable drop-off in the percentages. And then add to that the fact that, okay, yes, we're not drawing for button in this game, but I doubt anybody threw a rock this wide in practice, so this is going to be extremely fresh pebble.
I would be shocked and surprised if anybody threw rocks out there. And you sometimes get those little plateaus out there, kind of the edge of the scraper. But that said, yellow's going away. They're going to get our roll. Nothing to it. Textbook force. What more could you have asked for? All right, well, Dunny's running down saying, well, you got that one. I'm just going to draw for one. Not a lot of pressure with it barely nibbling the 8-foot, but hey. All right, Colton on the broom. The Harnan brothers on the sweep. Anything full 8. Seem content. It's a clean style sweep. Just escorting it down. This looks like going to be one on the board for yellow. Let's see how much of the pin they get. Right like that. Turkey. One on the board for Dunstone. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Welcome back, everybody. This is quarterfinal action at the Henderson Medal Fall Classic, brought to you by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. We're coming to you from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. This is Evan van Amsterdam versus Dunstone. We are one game end into the match, and Dunstone was forced one. Sean, if you had a more than 24-hour layover and got forced one in the first end, but got to see a lot, are you okay with that? All right, we'll give Sean a moment to come back. Anyways, where I was going with that is, they got forced one. They did have hammer, but they got to see a lot of the sheet. They got to execute a couple of really nice plays. So it's not a complete loss. Kind of just chalk that one up to one end under the belt. And, well, see if you can't force a blank later on or something to get the end count in your favor. Anyways, we have play kind of going down the split the two sides. Something interesting we've seen a lot this weekend. Some teams focus strictly on the middle when they have hammer. Some are more inclined to go to the wings. Evan has chosen to go way out into the far wings. But hey, as a rock buried, Dunstone's selecting to keep playing around the middle. Had the option to throw a higher guard, but it's still fairly early in the game. Doesn't want to take too many risks.
Well, the nice thing for Evan, too, have it.
Steel would be nice. A blank would be nice. Bit of a tight pair of guards, but free guard zone rule. Well, no, we're past the free guard zone rule, so bit tight out of those two, I'd say. But anyways, we're Evan electing to play it simple, clean up the front. Double guards on top of one in the forefoots, not something you'd usually leave alone, not in the second end. Jason Ginter throwing a nice double peel. There's one, there's two, and the rollover for an extra guard. Very well done. Dunstone now wondering if that very well buried green is going to cause him grief. There's the potential that those two green guards are aimed right at his on the can, and that could end up being a problem later on. So he's thinking, let's just deal with it. No reason to get crazy aggressive this early on. Oh, time for a mound visit, as our esteemed colleague Dave would put it. Kind of debating which of the two guards is a bigger problem.
Well, the biggest problem about them all is you can't just make the double peel. It's going straight onto the yellows.
Yeah, so you can't leave them, can't double them.
Probably
they're thinking chip and a roll.
Yeah, a single peel on the tighter of the two, which will expose most of the greenstone in the 12-foot. And you'd like to roll to guard your own.
That would be a nice outcome. And thus far, every time we've said that's ideal, they've done it. So let's see if the pattern continues. This is E.J. Harnden. Colton on the early sweep. I don't have a lot of green rock, though hitting the top one's also acceptable. Just so long as you're rolling in towards the middle, right?
Tick on the top one and get the second one would be great. I almost called it too late. I don't think he moved it far enough to matter. Could have moved them both out of the way.
Did get a nice roll on. That could be a nice force rock later in the end.
Well, it matters that it's second shot, because for now that stone in the 12-foot that's buried, he's got to find a way to get both of these out to bring that back into play yet. A lot of rocks to come.
Jason being asked for what would be a hit and roll, somewhere to the middle, group the rocks up a bit. The double's not really on the table, so just try to get them closer, right?
No, yeah, but this is a good call, and it's something that, some of the more inexperienced fans at home watching might be wondering, well, why isn't he hitting shot rock? Your easiest way to group them, and more importantly than group them, not give Dunstone a chance to get them separated anymore, is you hit the one in the wings, roll towards the middle, and the most he can ever spread them out is basically about the same amount. He knows that now, and there's going to be a double there.
Yes, indeed. There's only 6 feet when you got one in the middle, right? That's
Yeah,
the farthest
yeah.
you can spread them.
Whereas if you hit the one in the middle, you hit it right on the nose, he hits and rolls to the wing. Now you could have 8-9 feet between the two of them, and it gets really hard to make a double. And those, to the experienced curlers, that's just an elementary thing. But I do get times where I ask, well, why aren't they hitting the shot rock? Well, there's a reason behind it.
There's also the school of camp of hit the highest one first and roll towards the lower one. Good things can happen. Anyways, where do they want this to go?
Not there. They would have liked to sit for 2, because now he doesn't have to hit that one at all.
Correct. And you can actually roll towards that yellow one. Keep it farther away from the green, as you put it. Put 9 or 10 feet in between those rocks. Not that there's a lot of that green one that you could hit in the first place. So Evan's looking pretty decent. Basically going for a junior deuce at this point. How far can you spread 2 rocks out, waste all your opponents? All right, looking for a little bit of curl on this. Got to stick around for sitting 2. Nicely done.
Thought for a second they were going to get greedy and put a piece of it behind the yellow. Just
As you've often said, not necessary. Sitting 2 is all you needed. That would have been a hell of a shot, though. Both of them partially tucked.
make it hard to get either one of them out. Well, certainly.
But does that ever just goad the opponents into a really hard, awesome shot?
Well, sometimes it does. And he wouldn't have had much, the short little runner on the yellow, which, you know, he likely makes it. It's probably not going to change things too much.
But it does make it at least trickier. All right, so this is not a lot of green. But in defense, you got rid of the rock. That was the main point, I suppose.
Yeah, but, you know, this is an ice condition issue, or the rock condition, I guess you could say. If we had that wow, this surprises me even.
Yeah,
even with this. Yeah.
That.
I was going to say, if you had that 5-6 feet of curl that they sometimes see, you might see them try to tuck another one around the corner and see if they couldn't put 3 on the board. I don't know if they would. I mean, that's an aggressive call, but
there's no harm as long as you get part of the rock buried. Well,
the harm is if you come behind the tee line and then they could take the whole end away with one shot. But this surprised me. I'd draw over there. I'm not sure that I'd hit this. This rock is probably never a factor, other than that if you draw anywhere in the neighborhood of it, you could force Dunstone to at least play the other turn on his hits. Take him out of his comfort zone.
So, that is so high. Is there a hit and roll under those greens to take things away? Or is that too far?
It's probably too far. This could be one of those things, though, where you're talking about it just to put it in Evan's mind that you're going to play it on the next one. Which, I mean, he is going to play it on the next one. You'd have to throw big weight to make it, because you got to roll fairly flat to stay. If you throw this with control, for instance, with where you'd have to hit it to get the roll that far across, you'd be too deep. I don't think you'd still be shot. So he needs a flat roll to make it. So for now, you have to make sure you're rolling far enough to be shot. You're hoping Evan maybe rolls a couple of inches more, a couple of feet more towards the center line, and then you got a shorter attempt at it for your last one. But you have to be shot. If you're not shot, he doesn't have to hit it, although he didn't have to hit it on the last one, and he still did.
Sometimes guessing along with skips isn't easy. All right, so to your point, hit and roll a little bit towards the middle.
Enough to be shot, so he's got to play it.
Yeah, he has to address the rock, so he'll be sitting 2 back, but now he's going to be that 2 rocks higher, So the long roll is going to be above tee line, possibly under the greens, right? Would Evan ever entertain the really long roll to even make that not possible? All right, so Evan's trying to get rid of the yellow, keep his rock in play, and maximize the difficulty of Dunstone's roll. That's a really long roll, but it's there. Objective 1, get rid of green. Objective 2, try to roll shot underneath of those green ones. Dunstone with his routine, nice and patterned. Looking for roll, big roll. Not a ton of weight on this, but you don't need a ton of weight for a roll. Looks a bit like he's just saying here, get rid of the green. How far can you go? How far can you go? Valiant effort. He's rolling a bit steep. Getting a little thicker with a little more weight. Might have made it work. But that said, Evan's got the hit and stick for 2. And calmly setting in. Just needs a simple hit and stick for 2.
That's not a good sign. First indication was they thought it was heavy. Now it's curling though.
Yeah, the 2 sweepers are working it equally. That's a good sign. There you go.
Yeah, they
2 on the board for Dunstone. Oh, sorry, what were you saying?
I was just going to say they signaled heavy right away, and then they swept from the offside. That's a little bit of panic, but it came up nice for them.
I get that. 2 on the board for an Amsterdam. 2-1 lead. We'll be right back.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com. The apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
I've got this one. So, how is that? Wonderful. Now let's do it again.
BDO Assurance, a commitment to quality.
Welcome back, curling fans, to the Henderson Medal Fall Classic, presented by Coyote Tractors of Ontario. We have 2 ends under the belt between Van Amsterdam and Dunstone in this quarterfinal match on a Saturday evening. It's been reasonably clean, a little less busy than the previous couple games we've called out, but certainly no shortage of good execution and shot making. Do you feel like there's going to be any changes, Sean?
Well, it doesn't look like it here. This is a similar setup to how we had the first end. The only difference is Van Amsterdam brought both of his rocks into the rings. Now, I don't know whether they planned to bring the second one in or they just wanted a tight guard and it slipped into the rings. But we've seen both teams content to ignore center rocks, try to establish the corner.
So if you're Van Amsterdam and you're looking at Dunstone, who's had a lot of success early this season, and maybe you're thinking you're a little bit of an underdog, is that changing your plan any?
I would hope not. I mean, they're still a good team, right? The other side of it, this goes back to what we talked about earlier. The team that comes through the C event, and I mentioned this yesterday too. You ask teams all through history in these triple knockout events, where would you prefer to qualify? And they'll all tell you, if we knew we were going to win that C qualifier, we'd prefer to play through the C and keep playing. Like, they're coming through on the C. They're in a bit of a roll. You don't really want to change anything. You're playing well right now.
Momentum is your friend, is what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, kind of. And you've kept everything, it keeps all the wheels oiled, so to speak. Now, to that end, this is having the quarterfinals here on Saturday night instead of Sunday morning. That's a little bit of help for Dunstone. Like, he still had 24 hours off, but in some formats he would have qualified Friday night and wouldn't play again until Sunday morning. Well,
sure. And you're looking at 36 hours of thumb twiddling.
Yep.
All right. Well, they're going for move the greens. We got 1, 2. Go. There's 2 greens in the corner. That's a well-executed raised double takeout. They were a little bit too close together, I might say.
Yeah, does leave the green buried behind the yellow, and then Evan, I think, is going to play the run back on the yellow to try to kill the 2 yellows.
So here's a quick replay, a double look on this one. EJ is no stranger to throwing weight. Bang, bang, bang. And a little bit of exercise for Dunstone. Excellent shot.
They missed the run back attempt to come back, but they did roll the shooter into the ring, so the yellow open. Second and third belong to Van Amsterdam at the top of the 12. But this is he could make the run double here and roll to a corner guard. How would you like that? Sitting 2 and shot rock would be buried.
That doesn't sound like a bad problem.
Well, yeah, Evan's probably got to go after the one he can see. And then you might have the option to come around again. Now, it depends whether or not you can bury the shot stone or not. It's close. It's got a curl.
Well, less green in play.
You got the sitting 2 part. Nothing's buried.
All right, Evan's thinking. Hit and roll. Is that kind of putting you a little deep in the house?
It is.
Isn't necessarily bad.
No, it's not. It's yellow rocks you're behind. There's an argument you could make for hitting the Yellowstone that's second shot just because it's in a more dangerous spot.
There's the contact. It's a bit thin. Lots of things to roll behind. And ends up right in the hole.
Yeah. You don't even have to hit that. And I don't, he's not going to. No.
Tap of the wrist, nice board weight. Colton I would say enjoys hitting things, so this is going to make him happy. So,
the downside to hitting it's very deep.
This is true. There is distance between the run back, which is a good side. I don't know if Van Amsterdam is going to start chasing the draws or not.
I would expect him to play the double on the yellows and the rings.
So this is looking kind of like a run back, eh?
Yeah, pretty much straight back. Just like you got to get a hair across the face. Just clip the second one on the way by. He actually might roll his shooter in, sit 2 nibblers. Don't think it's going to matter because I think Dunstone will be coming around. Too thin.
Way too thin. Scooters it over the top. Loses his shooter. Makes lots of room for a draw. The yellow one is still wide open, so keeping up 2 is still manageable.
Well, it's looking 3-ish right now. You got 3 rocks left to come. You're going to come around the center guard. You bury it well. Evan's probably got to hit the open one at the back.
Correct.
And you could come around again after that, and he doesn't have anything he could hit. I think you'd like to bite top 4 here. You want room to get another one in on top of it if you can. It's got a ton of room by the guard. Well, that's a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card for Evan Van Amsterdam. He's got the option. You can try to hit and roll behind cover, or you might even be able to hit and roll on top of the other yellow. Well, it's looking 3-ish right now. You got 3 rocks left. Not looking like he's going to get the roll underneath. They're still trying. Boy, that's a good job on the brush. Got a little bit. Thought they might switch over to plan B there. Not looking like he's going to get the roll. So Matt Dunstone with his first going to make a play on that green stone, top of the 4-foot. It's a 7, about an 1/8 underneath cover. I don't know if he can bury this or not. Even if he's just right on the nose, there won't be a double back. I guess he feels it looks a little better from the hacks. He's tightened up the broom.
All right, so Dunstone looking to kind of just stick it there, right?
Yeah.
Bury as much as he can.
Yeah, you bury a sliver of it just so that Evan can't make the roll underneath, and the double attempt would be paper thin, so I don't think he takes that on. Then he might have to try to hit and roll in front of the yellow, which is still a way to get out of the end.
There's lots of air past the guard. Ryan trying to get it over.
Well, he might have left the double, though. Yeah.
That very much is a double. That's a get-out-of-jail-free moment for you.
Well, it's more than just get out of jail, because I think that green at the top of the 12-foot like it looks like it might be biting. If it's biting, you make the double and it's a force.
Is there any chance of rolling under the guard with the double?
There is.
Not the main point, but
Nope.
if you're ticking all the this is amazing boxes, you could make a double, roll under the guard, and have a biter.
Yeah, it's kind of going to depend on the weight he's throwing. Like with bumper weight, you're probably throwing more than that to make sure you have a double. You probably may throw in at least control. Yeah, it's going to be close. You can roll a piece under for sure.
Well, he's certainly throwing enough weight for a double and roll. Coming down. It's a little bit thin. Ooh, there's an unforced error. Dunny's quick to throw down the broom and skitter to the other end. Save a few seconds with his draw to the 8-foot. Well, that's a very unfortunate error. Over curling may have been better because at least you get them moving.
Yeah, well, and you could have. I mean, if you over curl to the point where you jam it, you still might end up behind cover as shot rock, and he's got to deal with it. So
that's kind of where my brain was at. Maybe more weight than he was intending.
It looked like a very pronounced pop at the end, and with that extra weight, those rocks just aren't coming back.
All right. Last rock here in the third. Dunstone looking to draw anything 8-foot or better.
Put it on the pin during this first end in the exact same path.
Got two of the best sweepers in Canada managing it for you, which is both for judgment and ability. Not a lot of working. Got some feet. Got lots of room to spare. Draws back 8 for a pair. That puts Dunstone up 3-2, and we'll be right back.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Ste.Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sioux Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport. Go there to get anywhere.
I can hear some click. And welcome back, everybody. This is end number 4 action between Dunstone and Van Amsterdam here in Sault Ste. Marie at the Henderson Metal Fall Classic, brought to you by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. We've had kind of a back and forth. 1, 2, 2. Few misses, nothing major. I can't imagine much will change. What do you think, Sean?
They're both running out of the same strategy handbook too, because we've seen corner guards thrown up every end so far, ignoring the rocks in the middle, throwing up the corner guards.
I do have to say, Evan likes really far out corner guards. He's full on the 12.
Well, and I can understand it. Maybe not necessarily be quite that far out on this ice, but you do see so often those corner guards get in the way of the draw path towards the center. We have seen that a couple of times yet this weekend, but that draw path is not as wide here as it might be again on that ice that curls at 5 to 6 feet.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. Like, everyone's got their preference, I suppose, but hey, whatever works for you. A corner guard's a corner guard.
If you know you can get around a corner guard that wide, there's nothing wrong with having it out there. You know it's not blocking your path to the middle later on.
And having the rock underneath of it, half a rock closer to the button, is not really the objective. You're just hoping that's rock number 2 in your score sheet.
Yeah, for some of us, that grew up playing in the straighter conditions, you saw a lot of times when ice makers would, and this goes back to before everybody understood that it's rocks that curl, not ice. They don't like you saying this, but they would dish it, basically. Yeah. So you try to throw those draws to the corner, and that's where you get uncomfortable with the corner guard that wide, because there was almost a hill out there. And if you got the corner guard too far over, you couldn't actually get around it. It was only going to curl just so far, and it's not going to curl against gravity. So that's where, a lot of guys would get uncomfortable having it that far out there. That's still a free guard. Evan might want to sweep that.
That's not the first time I've seen that kind of just let it roll.
It did go. So
all right. Oh, there's no boards here. That makes a lot more sense.
There's a line in the ice, but
sweep it to the line.
He could have swept it, is the thing.
Yes, to be certain. You'd be amazed how many games get lost on those little moments. That you didn't sweep something behind the house, didn't sweep something off the edge. All right, well, that was an unforced error. Opportunity for Evan to choose whatever he wants to do. Thinking hit and roll off the tight one, maybe draw underneath.
He does not like clutter on the middle. I'm fine with the draw around. If you're going to go around, I think you're going to go around the higher one, though. This is probably the more dangerous of the guards, so I don't mind this call either.
Is this a Evan doesn't like guards, or is this an Evan respects Dunstone's ability to make use of that guard? Never mind.
Yeah, don't.
Jason said, nada. We're going around.
Yeah,
front end audible.
He's going around the one that's going to be easier to run back. I don't like this call.
I would have went the other path too. A little bit of a right to left as we're looking at it might have been a safer place, but again, you can still run that short one on an angle. Someone's jumping up and down with a camera in front of them. All right, this is got a long way to go.
Well, it does, but when you're coming around your opposition stone, you don't want to be dead buried.
Fair enough. Deep enough that Dunstone can't hit it, but not so much that you can't play on it. Not deep enough, not the word I'm looking for. Curled enough that Dunstone won't just flat hit it.
He could hit it. He's going to roll open, and then it gives them a chance to roll back underneath. Doesn't want to give him that opportunity. You make the freeze to it. You can, at least for now, eliminate the stone in the corner.
So we're looking for a freeze. Saw a lot of these in the Epping Returnes match. A few less throughout today, but hey, who doesn't love freezing rocks in the top 8? It's a solid counterpoint. Something tells me Evan's really liking that guard less now. Oh, no.
Well, he's liking it less, but what can he do about it?
This is fair. All right, going for the return corner freeze. Do you ever try to rattle them a tiny bit? Probably too buried.
It'd be nice if you could, but you can't afford to bounce off it. You got to get close to like 3/4 of the yellow, and then just rattle it a couple of inches. You got to stay corner in front of the yellow, and yeah, you'd like to break up the yellow-green that's there, but
this is dangerously light.
You pop open and you're leaving a double.
All right, sweeper saved this one.
It's still got to curl a bit. Yeah, it's too much.
There's that kiss of death, as we sometimes call it.
Yeah.
A freeze where you roll off the side and they're wide open. That was overswept in the end of the day.
Yeah, he could get away with that weight if he'd gotten to 3/4 of it. He just didn't get that much curl. So then he bounces open, and Open means he leaves a double.
And this is where those kiss of deaths really come to haunt you, because you hit and you roll up underneath of everything without any real risk, and you get a double out of it. So looking for 7/8, little roll.
Yeah, anything to the inside.
Ryan just keeping it clean. Clearly it's close. Ooh, wee. Well, you got the double. Didn't quite get the roll.
No, it wasn't bad, though. To make the double on the yellows, you got to roll to the outside, probably all the way out.
It'd be certainly hard to keep your shooter. Evan instead thinking I'll just play patient and nose this one. Walk the rock forward a little bit to make the double angle a little friendlier. Asking Jeremy just nose it and leave it there. We'll sit second and third and be patient.
I thought he might actually look at playing the guard back here, too.
On and off, on and off. Straight curl, straight curl. Oh, a little bit on the thin side. Short roll away, opens a bit of a door.
Yeah, you got the roll back underneath. You got them staggered now. Big roll over to the other green is there.
Short roll under the guards is also apparently an option. Wouldn't that be a beautiful shot? 10-foot roll, corner frozen.
He's already made it once in this game.
Well, let's go for two. Tap of the elbow, that's control, right?
Like if you roll just past the center line, so you want to get to the other side of the yellow if you're rolling the short roll, because then any of the run backs, the way the yellows are staggered, one of them is going towards that green.
Correct. Is there ever a point where this roll's so good that Evan says, to heck with it, I'm drawing underneath?
Based on what we've seen of the way he's been calling the game so far, I don't think so.
Okay, well, there's what you're basically after. A little farther, may not have hurt. There's a chance to get a lot of yellows moving now. I'm trying to read the angles. It looks like the yellow may go over the green.
It really is going to depend on how he hits the... Like, if you nose the first one, you're half on the second, and it's going to catch the third one thin enough that it might go over there. He's trying to drive it across the top, it looks like, in which case the top one's going to stay in the rings. But he's going to make sure that the guard and the stone biting the forefoot go. And his shooter's going to get off the center line.
That said, at this point, opening up the middle is more critical than worrying about your green in the edge, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, that green on the edge is still well buried. If you can get a shot at the rock in the middle, you've still got a shot at two.
Jeremy Hardy with the up weight hit. Early sweep, holding the line. We got one, we got two. Over the top. All right, two yellows in the corner. The other yellow wide open, and the green one still safe. Fairly solid shot.
Yeah, it did go over the top of it, not by a ton.
I thought it was going to do the just.
I thought it was going to at least touch it, yeah.
Yeah.
The yellow is shot rock, though, so Matt could just elect, that's what they're talking about. You come around, you have to stay high enough that you don't leave them a double off the other yellow, or be really deep and make it a very thin double. Yeah, you really got to commit to one or the other. This is where we're talking about if we're even, we're good. If we're back here, we're good. And then if you're talking about both, how often you see them get the one right in the middle where you leave the easy double?
I've seen it twice today here in Swift Current.
Yeah, you have to commit. It's one of those things, you get two shots in your mind and you end up making the one in between that, and that's not good.
I often tell people, it's one thing to identify the choices, but your conversation is, this is the one we're throwing. And that's how you end it. You don't follow it up with, but if I'm heavy, or if I'm just drop it at, this is what we're doing. But yes, too often it's easy to end up in the middle, and that's never a good place. All right, so Dunstone looking to put another draw in the house. This is the third easy out-turn draw for him. Leaving it up to his 2 power sweepers to pick whether it's even or deep. Team shot aspect. That's what we love about this game. 2 of them giving it just a nice clean, nothing too fancy. Lots of air on the guard. Coming in. Which one did they pick?
Well, they were picking T-line all the way.
That looks like a nice 45-degree angle to me, so that seems like a pretty good outcome. So, Mr. Evan, use the guard, stuff it great, open it up. You at least force them to protect. Not sure there's a lot you can do with that front yellow, is there?
The front yellow, probably not. You're either playing the run now, I think. Well, he even looked at the slash double, which I guess you could play, but then they put another one in the same spot, and you're drawn to the button against a steal.
Do you freeze?
You could.
Hard to score 2 that way, but you'd be shot.
Well, if you sit right on the face, you've still always got, no matter what Dunstone does, you've always got the run back. If you're right on the face, your green one's never going anywhere.
I personally like that one.
I'd be shocked if he played it, because he certainly has not. He's shown a very marked preference for hits over draws so far in this game.
That's where I was kind of going with that comment of maybe if you're feeling like the underdog, you don't want to press the agenda. But hey, the reasoning be what it is. Evan does look like he's lining up the run back.
Yeah, he's not looking at the line to line it up to shot, though. He's trying to get this onto second and then get his shooter out of the way so he can sit second and third off this and have the shot rock be wide open and just turn around and say, okay, Matty, what do you want to do? When we're sitting second and third, is he going to hit?
A little inside out there.
Yeah.
Jason trying to work it over. They don't have a lot of it.
It's the same issue we had with the out-turn hit last end. That little pop at the end was just a little much. And, you know, they throw so much bumper weight all weekend long, and you throw bumper weight with that release and it will come up. But when he has to throw that little bit more weight, it just doesn't make any kind of a move when you've got that motion.
Sure, control weight with an in-out and you get straight. And I'm not sure a lot of power sweepers with these new brooms are going to make it go very far. All right, so what's Dunstone thinking here?
Looks like he's thinking if he throw the same shot basically and have it stop about it. This looks like the unnatural way to do it, but it's the same shot he just threw. That stone that's sitting in the corner of the button, he did come around that yellow guard. That's where he ended up. But he wants to bite the top of the forefoot, and essentially it's the Christmas tree. It's just this looks like the harder way to get the Christmas tree, but it is there. I mean,
the over-curl Christmas tree.
He just made it, so.
Yes, this is now attempt number 4 on the out-turn draw. It's worked out well for him so far. So you want what? 2 feet higher and a little less curl.
Yeah, nibble the top of the forefoot.
The Harnan brothers have a very similar response to his first one. Working a little harder. Has that same kind of, half a foot of clearance. There it goes. Walking it down. And there's that top 4 nibbler, partly covering the back one, partly covered by the guard. Not a whole lot of recourse you can do with that.
No.
The draw tap seems like he could just get your one, should you not?
Well, Yeah, but you got to throw the in-turn draw on a path that nobody's thrown yet. Like the outturn's gone. The outturn's gone. Like Matt's in the way of your outtturn draw.
It's hard to bite more of the button with the outturn.
You could play the double in the top two, but it's hard. You got to get the back of the second one to get in.
That would be the triple of the ages.
Yeah, well, that's what they're looking at. And I think part of the reason they're looking at it, they do have a preference for the hits anyway. As long as you make the double, you're not giving up more than one. But it's really thin on the first one to get the back end of the second one. So you're probably giving up the steal more often than not if you play that.
Well, you can tell it's a difficult situation because they know the two choices, and they're having a heck of a debate about which one of the two is more makeable.
I really thought you were going to say you can tell it's a tough choice because they're actually letting the lead have input.
What would you do here?
Typically,
I'd throw a card. What are you talking about? Well, it really seems like they're taking a solid look at this triple. I suppose worst case scenario, you make the double and give up one.
Well,
not that the double's a gimme.
Yeah, the double's not a gimme. That's the thing, right? Because if you're going to try to actually score, you've got to hit the first one fairly thin. See, if this happens, everybody's going to say it's the announcer's jinx, but there's a chance you hit the first one and go between the other two.
All right, so they've lined it up. Little short cross house, and then scooch back. Evan with the peel. Parker and Jason watching it. Jason working it. Parker keeping it straight. It's got to be close. 1, 2. What a shot. Basically a triple for one. That's doing it the hard way, but Van Amsterdam pulls out the hard-fought one to tie the game after 4. We'll be back in a moment. Oh, here you go. Let's watch it again.
Take one more look at it. I was just going to say, if he throws it harder, he could have scored 2. Like if he gets the one out the back, because it did click, well, it touched the one at the side, but it went over the top of it a little bit. I don't think anybody ever looked at that as a possibility. He gets the second one, you look at it, it rubs that one, but it left it in. He hits that first one just a shade thinner so that he's a little more on the back of the second one. It's probably for 2.
That would have been a highlight reel that was shown all year long on his YouTube anyway. All said and done, a phenomenal shot.
For over 20 years, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has granted more than $9 million to hospitals across Canada for life-saving equipment for premature and critically ill babies. In the past 4 years alone, $4 million has been granted thanks to the curling community's incredible generosity. The need continues year-round, and with your help, we can ensure every baby has the chance to grow up and become a champion, just like Sandra.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Welcome back, curling fans. Hope you all got a chance to catch your breath. That was a bit of a crazy end with one heck of a phenomenal shot. Only for one, but a phenomenal shot all the same by Van Amsterdam. So that walks us into the fifth and tied. Dunstone has hammer, small advantage there.
Yeah, but you're seeing something different here.
I was just going to say,
no
not
corner
so
guard
much.
from Dunstone. He wants to blank this end in the worst way.
Yeah, the script says find a blank. We want 2 ends to your 1, right?
Yeah.
We had a quick clock check last end, and both teams had plenty, but Dunstone's ran his down a little bit more than Van Amsterdam.
Which is surprising to me because Van Amsterdam took a lot of time to discuss that last shot.
In all fairness, the clock check was before that one, so they might be the same now. So this is playing out a little bit more like that return as Epping game we did, where one guard and a stagger of things underneath of it. That one overcurled a little bit on them. Evans.
Yeah, not bad though because it's got angle to the greenstone.
Evans thinking there's a chance to double up his pair. Maybe even chip out that yellow one. It was a little hard to tell. He kept wiggling the back forefoot, which is not what I would have expected.
Yeah, I'm not sure separation is your friend here right now. Because if you're on the same page as what I am, you're thinking Dunstone's playing for a blank. He's peeling the guard on the next one. You don't want rocks in the house that he can easily get rid of. You want everything jammable.
Yeah, no pass by doubles. I get that. Here's Jason. It doesn't look heavy, so got Parker and Jeremy trying to take it down just past that yellow one in some manner. Came up a little short of their target, but not a bad outcome. Dunstone can only see half of that, but he could manage to stick it on the green line.
Yeah, that's enough. He could sit 3 off this.
So what kind of weight are you looking at? Control, I guess?
Less even, I think. They've been throwing that bumper weight all weekend.
This does look like a board or a bumper, depending what edge of the country you're on. Walking it in nice. There's the first contact. Green popped out. Didn't quite get the roll on the yellow they had indicated.
It's 3 though.
Yeah, is that doubleable? It's a bit steep.
Well, double for sure. A slash double.
Yeah.
You might be able to get all 3 of them moving. You're losing your shooter if you do that. And then we'll see how committed Dunstone is to the blank.
Yeah, well, as you've said numerous times in this, Evan has been allured by the hits, and there is a lot of win if you do it right in this case. I'm not sure you're going to get all 3 yellows out, but you can definitely get them out of the forefoot. So here we go. Jason is no stranger to throwing weight either, so here we go. Jeremy with a bit of an early clean. Push it over. We got a little piece. 1, 2. Yep. Okay, 2 yellows out. 2 yellows part in the corner. The shooter's pretty high. Okay, shot rock is just top 8. Not a huge risk yet, but what's Matt thinking to do with it?
Come just across the face, tap that yellow, but he's basically looking for the Christmas tree, and the way to do it is you've got to tap it up.
My exact thought words. The Christmas tree the hard way. Tap it up instead. All right, EJ with the short tap, so you're kind of picturing back 4 as the shooter. The thrower, I should say. Got lots of air on the guard. across nicely. Look at it go. Right onto the button. Perhaps a hair far, but Evan doesn't have a lot of choices. He did consider drawing, did consider freezing.
Yeah, he didn't consider for very long.
Ooh, yellow. Hit it. Now, hit this and roll outer edge of 8 foot. Good outcome.
I mean, it probably takes the blank out of play, but they're just going to try to put it back. I didn't mind his in-between discussion when they talked about putting the green onto the yellow, because then he might have taken away the shot to get Christmas tree again.
Oh, you don't want to just the back one. Woo!
Yeah, you would have hated to ever just rub that yellow on the way by. I
held my breath.
Stop sweeping for curl when you're hitting the back one.
I wasn't going to say anything, but it kind of made me think that's a bit bold.
If you're not touching the front one, maybe stop trying to curl it.
I'm not even sure they didn't want to roll farther. Like, this is hack weight flop under better now.
Well, you could.
Do you want to?
You could roll to the edge of the 8 foot too, and say, look, our rocks are spread out. We're on third stone, so I think we're going to take our 2.
Yeah, went in thinking blank, but you're giving us 2, maybe even 3. They, on the other hand, are sweeping straight past the guard. Well, that looks very familiar to 2 rocks ago. Evan says, not this time. Maybe. All right, try again. Still looking to kill a yellow, spread your greens out, somehow manufacture a force.
Without it being a force to 3.
Who doesn't love the blank 3? All right, now they're changing their minds. Must be curling a little different this time. It's tight on the top one. This is looking good. Not much for the roll.
Might have left the double on the greens, and it would be Christmas treat.
Yeah.
Then that takes you out of the. I mean, it might be either you're giving up 2 or you're giving them a blank.
Even just hit and roll back under into the Christmas tree again.
Yeah.
Certainly Evan having to throw the harder shots. It's kind of funny how much they were sweeping that, considering they wanted to roll it 4 feet farther.
Yeah. Yeah, this is one where I don't think Colton could overroll this if he tried, because I don't think he's ever rolling past the other green. He'll roll into the side of it, and that gives you the Christmas tree, right?
Absolutely. Well, they're liking it so far. Ryan with the escort down the sheet. EJ's turn. A little more air on the guard, but it is farther out. Clunk, flop. There's that catch on the green. Other green gone. Sitting 2, Christmas treat.
And now the angled green onto yellow. It's harder to get that. There's no guarantee you get either yellow out.
I'm going to ask you a crazy question. Does the yellow spin down onto the other yellow, though, with the green right beside it?
I don't think so. I think it's enough lower that it's. I mean, you could give it a try. You're not going to hurt yourself. The yellow's going to leave. One of the yellows is leaving for sure.
The green leaves, but that's doing you no good right now anyway.
No, it's not. It's never going to be able to be angled in now either. So.
Technically, there's a run back double. You could play to the one in the 4 foot in some manner, I suppose. All right, there's a nice clock check. Evans cruised past Dunstone on the clock, but Both have a solid 13 plus minutes for 3 more ends. So long as they decide promptly.
Well, I think promptly's already sailed.
Well, it kind of looks like they're taking this run at smack the yellow and hope for good things.
Well, it still to me looks like they're playing the hit and just roll over a little bit, leave some kind of angle.
Is that
There's
not
a
just
little
gonna
bit
bounce off the green?
Well, I'm not sure it's going to touch it. Like, it depends how thick they hit it. There's a little bit of air between them, and the yellow's just a sliver deeper. If he's trying to hit thick enough to hold his shooter, then he might not be touching the green.
Fair enough. Mission, get rid of a yellow. It's got that solid inside-out pop again. Jason saying it's a little heavy. Parker trying to work it over. They got a piece of it. Ooh.
I think it rubbed.
It made the green one wiggle, but to your point, it went through. And look at that. Matt says, let's put it back.
Yeah, but you got to be careful, and that's what you saw Colton indicating. We got to be careful of where we line this up. Yes, you want the Christmas tree, but if you come to just the wrong spot, it would line up the green, yellow, yellow double.
And there's definitely no blank on the table right now.
I would be hard-pressed to see where that would be coming in, yeah. And that's what they're looking at. They're not talking about hitting that rock. They're wondering, what does Evan have? So are we going to leave him a run double here? You kind of have to play the Christmas tree. I mean, you could split the house somewhere and just try to sit 2, but he can get under off this rock.
Absolutely.
So you have to take that away.
So they keep tapping 2 depths, right beside the green one, kind of where it just was, and then almost down to the 4 foot, so that if Evan hits that green one, it should shoot over top of things, I assume.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you put it kind of at the top of the A in the Maitland, that almost lines up the 2 yellows. So the green is lined up through the yellows to make a double. See, and that's what you've got to avoid. It's kind of the same thing we talked about last end with where they were trying to put a stone just to avoid leaving some kind of makeable double. You're either high or you're deep, but you can't be in between. The in between probably leaves them a shot to get them both.
And you got to be sitting 2.
Yeah, so you have to commit to one. Which one are we playing? And
I don't know.
more of the ice tapping seemed to suggest they were going to try to play
the high one,
tighter to the own. Oh, you think it was a higher one? I thought they were coming to the top
higher
of the 4
more often. We're gonna find out in just a few seconds.
Well, it's got a curl no matter which one.
Certainly not stopping by the top one. It might be stopping right beside the deep one. Well, not sure how to assess that.
It might be okay because it stopped high enough that I mean, you can get to that stone, but to get to it with enough weight to make the kind of the crotch double when it's still a little bit higher, that's tough.
It actually worked out really good there. I was picturing it half a rock higher, but that actually worked out to be a pretty good spot. You can hit the yellow, but you're just taking out a yellow.
Yeah, it's tough to make the double. The doubles, it might be just there, but it's really tough because you got to throw a little bit. Yeah, well, yeah, because you're hitting the first one very thin, so you got to throw a little bit more weight, and that makes it iffy whether you're going to get the curl or not. He's going to try it.
Certainly. I suppose the negative in this is it runs straight and you hit the back one and he's got a shot for 2.
Yeah.
Don't hit the guard. So if everything goes perfectly, you catch an inch of the top yellow, you clip the second yellow, your shooter probably shoots out the side, you're sitting 2, he's forced 1.
Yes.
Backup plan, just nose hit that deeper yellow.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't sit right there, it's still a tricky shot for him to get the 2 because he can't hit it on the outside.
Or maybe that's just what he's going. That's not a lot of weight for a small piece double. All right. Gotta be it's close. Never mind.
Gonna be
That's
pretty
really
thick,
close.
Pretty thick on the first one. Yeah, they did not sweep that very well.
No, that
I
was
don't-
making me look a fool on the call.
I
but
don't
then
think
yeah.
they didn't sweep that very well. Like, they got off once it started to move, and they really needed to hold that straight. I don't think they were aware of just how thin they had to hit the first one to still catch enough of the second one.
And to our point, you almost had to hit the bottom one better, because then the green one would have theoretically stayed there. This is now just once again, draw anywhere in the 8 foot.
Yeah.
So close to good. End result, easy shot for 2. I almost would have preferred the just nose to make this draw harder. Anyways, here we go. Dunstone looking to pick up another 2. Harnan brothers bring this rock down the sheet. Well past all the guards. They're going to hit the pin again. Just like that. A little bit through the pin, but 2 yellows on the board. That's a 5-3 lead for Dunstone over Van Amsterdam after 5. We'll be right back.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to this quarterfinal match at the Henderson Medal Fall Classic, presented by Coyote Tractors of Ontario. My name's Gord Copperthorne. I'm joined this evening by Sean Joyce. We are coming to you live on Curling Stadium as part of the Curling Zone offering. If you're interested in any of the other scores on the other sheets, feel free to take a peruse of Curling Zone. They do a great job of keeping all the stats up. If you like what you're seeing and hearing, feel free to like us, click a happy, add a comment, subscribe, whatever makes you feel good. So, 5 under the belt, 5-3 lead. Is anybody feeling like they're in the driver's seat?
Well, Dunstone probably does right now, but I mean, it's not so comfortably in the driver's seat that they can afford to let up. It does change the shots for them here. You see them play their first 2 rocks into the rings in the middle, and now I think they might play this as a tight guard. They might even play it right in. didn't see him indicate how high he wanted it, but you want to keep everything on the middle. Van Amsterdam through 2 corners, and this is that cat and mouse game, the jockeying for position. We talk about it so often. Dunstone's not thinking about stealing. That's not the reason he's putting the rocks in the middle. He's putting the rocks in the middle to force Van Amsterdam to deal with them sooner or later. And while Van Amsterdam's dealing with the rocks in the middle, Dunstone's going to deal with the rocks on the corner, and it's see who can deal with the opposition stones faster and get their end set up.
And is Dunstone thinking, I do not want blank? Or does Dunstone want blank?
You know, with a 2-point lead, he's probably okay with a blank here because Van Amsterdam is starting to run out of ends. What he doesn't want is he wants to keep Van Amsterdam on the defensive. So you keep the rocks in the middle. Probably not happy with the lineup they got on that because there is the lineup where he could get the triple and probably keep a shooter on the corner.
Mm-hmm. Triple and keep your rock in play. That sounds like a good outcome.
Well, then
unless you get it too thin. Well, to your point, that used up one of Van Amsterdam's rocks.
Yep. And he would have the option. He does have the option. Absolutely. There are some teams that go up and rip a corner guard right now. But if he keeps throwing the tight centers now, he can force Van Amsterdam to continue to play defensive shots. He's got to deal with those rocks in the middle before he can set up anything in the corner.
Now, I would normally say drawing is offensive, hitting is defensive, but Van Amsterdam seems to think hitting is offensive, so...
Well, and this draw is really a defensive shot. Again, he's not looking to steal here. You're trying to keep Van Amsterdam from playing straight out offensive shots. He's hitting right now, hitting a guard.
Yep.
Unless it overcurls.
Well, you got most of the
Which it might have.
Not sure you're losing both yellows, but you're definitely losing a yellow and can keep your shooter. That seems
You
planned.
could lose both of them if you're content to lose your shooter. Throw some weight, just pick it over the top and get them both that way, which honestly at the end of the day might not be the worst call. That you get the 2 yellows out, any kind of draw around that guard's now a little bit higher, you might be able to make a play on it.
I think they called nose hit and stick.
Yeah, and this is fine too. Like, never wrong to try to keep your shooter in the house on this.
Never wrong to have backing behind it either when you're trying to score 2. We're working it for some curl. It's got lots of air on the guard. Moving over nicely.
I'm not sure he got it out.
Perhaps a little lighter than he expected, but they got the positioning on the front.
Yeah, but sitting 2, you might see a guard now.
You mean like that? All right. Dunstone looking to throw some more clutter in the way. That's going to be even more of a cause for Van Amsterdam to smash things out front, I assume. There's lots of 4-foot to draw to, but drawing for 1 wouldn't be a great thing right now.
No.
So Dunstone and friends looking for a halfway to tight guard. Some overlapping to make the run backs and on option. Certainly not heavy here. Is he going to get an overlap? Not quite.
I would be shocked if he plays that draw.
I was holding my breath because I just said I couldn't imagine he'd throw the draw, and then he walks up there and taps it. I kind of pictured the run back, yellow, green, yellow, clean things up in a lot of ways. That seems what we've settled on. Hardy cleaning up his shoe and getting ready. All right, so almost straight back, little off straight back.
Well, you nose hit it. You're awful close to doubling the yellows that are in the house.
The conundrum being your shooter would stay as a center guard.
It would.
A little speed wobble there.
And a pop.
And judging by Parker jumping on it, they need more curl. All right.
Couldn't hit it on that side.
Well, a yellow.
Hung it on for second.
I'm milking this for positive. I'm struggling. You took yours out of the control zone. You left the guard. At least it's green. But now Dunstone's just saying thanks for the interference to hide behind.
Well, and half the sheet's gone. Like there's nothing on the outturn side.
Short of really long raises. This has to smell like blood in the water to Dunstone. All right.
Yeah, they keep sweeping this for curl, though. They're going to end up deep.
I was just going to say, it doesn't look like it's stopping anything short of T-line. That's a strange to see mistake.
Yeah, you got to draw now.
I think Evan is on the same page as you. There is no other recourse. First to the forefoot. So now let's see if Jeremy overreads that throw by Colton or not. Trust your delivery. Trust the numbers your front end gives you. Looking for top 4, right?
Yeah, just nibble top 4.
And Jason's not a big fan of this.
These are always the ones where you got to be careful. You already know it's heavy. You're sweeping for curl.
Well,
now it's heavier.
Tit for tat. That was 2 draws down. You might call it a fast path, but the fact that Jason recognized it as heavy immediately makes me think that it was just overthrown.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if Dunny has draw in his back pocket. He's certainly thrown lots of them tonight. Once again, looking for something top 4-ish. There's plenty of space between that guard and the house to get fully buried. End up sitting, what would it be, sitting 3? That's a pretty pressure moment.
Yeah, and Evan might have nothing other than to try the run back.
Unless he tries the audacious nose freeze to set up the run back for 2. That would be really hedging your bets. All right, well, let's see if they've accommodated for this path. Sweepers are on it early, so he's certainly not heavy. It's getting real tight to that guard. Are they by? Ooh, a little chap off.
If it spins, you can take the pass away. Yeah, it's fun at the end.
That's a positive miss. That's not leaving a lot of choices for Evan. But it does seem like there's a draw path still. Do you think that port's there to still draw it in?
I think it's generous to call anything I see there a port. That's what I'm seeing. Their best way in is probably off their own, but mind you, if you make that now, that might be your shot. You try to get in some other way, that might be your only shot for 2, is to come in off your own.
Can you just catch an inch of that high yellow and spin down to the top 8, top 4? Could you play that same in-turn draw? The stagger's the right way with the guards. Looks kind of ugly from the camera, but the overhead's not so bad. I like the hit and roll. I don't love it on your first one, because if ever you miss it, you really got nothing. I think they're playing the draw here. Same shot again.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's probably there from the shots that we've seen. It's not going to look good from the hacks, because that port definitely looks less than a rock's width wide, but they've all been curling coming in when you've got the right weight. Those couple of heavy draws didn't seem like they were moving, but they were heavy.
Yeah, they had break. There is a bit of a J curve to it. And as I always tell people, ignore the rocks when you're throwing a draw around one. Just pretend they aren't there and throw the clean draw. Because you're right, those things can get in your eyesight and then you panic and you pitch it. Well, Jason's down, so that's a good sign. You're not oversweeping. Got to get it to go over a little bit. It's through the port. That's got to stop. Well, 5-ish tries and finally it's in the 4-foot. Good shot. Wow, there's a lot of rocks to take into account with the rest of this strategy. So what are you thinking here?
Well, I'm thinking there's no chance I'm playing the shot that Matt's looking at. Wait, you hit that first one thin, you come back and kill the 2 yellows at the back, and it's 3.
Yep. Did you like the nose freeze?
Yeah, I don't hate it. How does he score 2 if you come in there? Even if you're a couple of feet short of it, I guess he still got the roll in off the side one, but...
My first reaction was they just follow it down and freeze it and let him have that long hit and roll. Like that.
You can play the hit and roll yourself. I mean, you actually might be able to make it to the back of the button and you're shot rock, then you steal. Fair. I don't think you're ever coming off that one on the outside. There's the potential there for an absolute disaster.
I would think the freeze is the easiest. The hit and roll's the best outcome, being the one that's over kind of on the left side of the tee lane.
It's high enough up. You look at where you make contact. You could probably get to the back half of the button and sit shot rock.
Yeah, throw peel with the right turn. You could technically use one of those 2 yellows on the right side to try to get him off the button.
Again, awfully risky, because if you ever kill those 2 yellows at the back, you're bringing 3 into play.
Don't you wish you had a microphone right now to listen to them?
Well,
they seem to like this one.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going after the double necessarily. One of the Harndens I saw just said, "Well, let's just hit and roll off this one," that's a safer option. I mean, you have to hit this fairly thick to make sure that you aren't going into those 2 yellows at the back.
So the absolute perfect is call it 8-foot double takeout to sit shot buried. The backup plan is just roll in as tight as you can to cut down as much house as possible so that Evan can't play that same draw.
Yeah, even if he just rolls to the side of the green, the side of the other stone, like he can't come down to the face. You could easily roll this to a spot where he can't come down to the face of his own and be shot rock. So then he's got to play the shot off the outside edge.
All right, so this is probably going to have a bit of weight to it. So let's see what they got.
Yeah, it's got to, because he's got to hit the first one thick. You can't.
Coming out with a missile. EJ's on it. It's got to be close. Ooh-yah! That was just a hair thin. Got Evan off the button, but that didn't really help him a whole lot. There is a chance.
There's a shot for 3. There's a couple of them. You could almost get to it with the heavy draw again.
That was my first thought. It kind of looks like the same path because he was almost onto the center line, right?
Yeah, you got to get by the one that's biting the 4-foot. That's a little iffy.
Worst case scenario, you chap off of it and you get your 2 because you're only throwing back line, right?
Yeah, you could. Yep.
That's the safe on that, right? You're throwing back line, trying to move that yellow one, call it 1.5 feet. If you happen to chunk your green one in the middle, you're still getting 2 out of it. Short of being heavy. Evan's kind of liking this run back by the looks of it.
Well, I mean, it's there too, right? It's a long run back, though. But there's nothing in the way, and the ankles. I mean, if it was shorter, you'd probably play it for sure.
Correct. There is the potential to take your own rock out with that, though.
Yeah. still got the in-off on his own to get 2 for sure, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's looking at now.
How do you not grab a chance at this 3 in the second end? You're already sitting 1. It's so funny, the overhead really makes that draw look appealing, but the straight on makes the draw look horrible. But that was your point on his last draw, too.
Yeah. He's playing the run back.
So we're looking for just a hair on the high side. Call it 7/8 on the green, up the high, mid guard. All right. Make this your champ. He already made that triple for 1, so why not do another one? He's got hitting going well for him. Here we go. Doesn't have to be heavy. Let your sweepers be part of it. I like it. Maybe a little less pop than he thought, because Jason's on it real early.
It'll take the other turn when he hits it.
There it goes. How's it look? There you go. Excellent shot for 3. Nothing like a 15-foot run back for your 3. That makes the score 6-5. What does this look like? Walk us through it.
Well, on the other hand, you didn't see as much pop as usual, so they got the inside brusher on right away, trying to hold the line. He still got plenty of rotation, which helps hold it. At the end, it actually could have stood to curl just a hair more, but with that quiet weight, half a rock on the second one, and doesn't roll very far.
Brilliant shot.
Yeah.
All right, so it's 6-5 in Amsterdam after 6. We'll be right back.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting 10-fold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from YNCU this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatoon in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
I've got this one. So, how was that? Wonderful. Now let's do it again.
BDO Assurance, a commitment to quality.
Well, with 1 point separating the teams here in the 7th end, the play has slipped into the rings. And in this case, you'd expect there's a very good chance probably both teams might be content to play this through for a blank. They're, I have to think, a little tight for time. See if we can get a peek at the clock. And with that 1 point separating the teams, Van Amsterdam happy to have the lead. Dunstone might be happy to have the hammer coming home. It looks like we're going to have an exchange of hits. There we go. Time. You know, if you play a quick end here, it's not a problem for either team, but definitely Van Amsterdam a little tight for time if he had to play an aggressive end here. Doesn't look like that's going to be an issue now. Oops, I almost spoke too soon. If you go by that changes things. Evan calling this one into the ring, so he doesn't even want to entertain the notion that Dunstone might try to score a deuce here. One of the things that does get interesting in this situation, and I don't think it's going to be a factor here. You've heard me talk about it in some of the earlier broadcasts on ice that's got a little bit more swing to it, where you maybe feel that deuces are a little easier to come by. You might prefer to have the hammer coming home, even trailing by 1. And if that's the case, and if both teams are thinking that way, you might look at freezing something at the end just so the blank's not there. Don't see that being an issue today. I think Evan will be content to just exchange hits here and let Dunstone have the chance for the blank.
All right, so we're just going to have a nice, easy 7th is what I'm hearing.
Well, for at least a few more shots. I don't think Evan will play the freeze at the end, but...
Well, does either team fear any particular outcome here?
Well, not the way it's shaping up right now. I guess Dunstone doesn't want to get stuck with a single very bad, but, I mean, it's not looking like that's going to happen. I still think the clock's factored in here, right? If Evan wasn't starting this end at under 6 minutes, he might have tried to force a little bit harder, but he kind of needed to bank some time too. So the play comes into the rings, and now the teams are content to exchange hits. And on this ice, where it's maybe a little harder to assume you're going to get a chance for 2, Evan's pretty comfortable having being 1 up coming home. Again, on ice that curls more, you might be a little bit more inclined to say, well, we want somebody to score this end, and that way we've got either a 2-point lead or the hammer coming home.
Correct. But at the same time, risk is going to be as close to 0 as possible this end for both teams.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to leave that just out of the rings.
A little bit of a mistake in not leaving your rock there, but doesn't really change the outcome too much, other than your score sheet might give you a 2 out of 4 for it. Put it back in the 4-foot. I suppose the one downside there is that had you walked it all the way to the front, you might have got a sneaky, weird kind of guard if we had walked it out of the house. All right, so that didn't quite make it, but technically you could draw behind it, but that's so tight you wouldn't want to even risk it anyway, so yeah, smack it. Absolutely. Would you roll this for a corner guard?
Nope. You're playing for the blank now. If you were trying to score, you were coming in, because that's third's last stone.
Absolutely.
Evan's already down at the other end. He is tight for time. Should be better now. We've had a pretty open end.
Do you ever put this somewhere other than the 4-foot thinking, hey, this might be a spot he doesn't understand?
I put it in the back 8-foot, let him hit it on the nose, and then you think about freezing to it. You don't. But again, this is not the ice for that. Like, it's if you were more worried about the chance for a deuce, you wouldn't give him the easy blank. This is not, as much as we got a lot of points on the board, it's not like the deuces have been easy to come by.
Well, they chose to put it right on the tee line, so your little freeze opportunity is not an option, but that's okay.
You freeze to it now, he's drawing for... You hit this on the nose, you freeze to that, he's drawing for 2, so I don't think you're going to give him that. Matt might not even want to think about the possibility that he might be just trying to blast this out and roll out of play himself, so there's not even an option. You will see teams do that in a stone in the back of the house.
All right, so working our way towards the blanked end. Nothing fancy, nice and simple. Trying a slightly different spot in the house. Not that it makes a huge difference, but maybe you get a little bit of a gaff out of them. Not heavy. Working it hard, but hey, it's just got to be in paint. There we go. Now Dunny's going to have the quick little peel and run.
Did what
run
they
and
want.
then peel.
Yeah, did what they wanted to do. They've forced. There's definitely a preference, and both of these teams, I think, have the same preference. They prefer to hit from the outside in. Matt also got that preference for his out turn as a rule, so he still throws the in turn really good. But if anything here, you forced him to his less favored turn, I guess.
All right, so here we go. Nothing complicated, but you still got to do it right. Heck knows we've seen enough accidental peel mistakes. And there you go. Put those two in the corner, and we got a blank on the board. We'll be back in just a couple.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.
Ste.Marie Airport Development Corporation, owner and operator of the Ste.Marie, Ontario, Canada Airport, is proud to support the Sioux Curlers Fall Classic and welcome all to beautiful Sault Ste. Marie. The Sault Ste. Marie Airport. Go there to get anywhere.
Welcome back, curling fans. This is end number 8 in what's proven to be a very back and forth exciting semifinal between Van Amsterdam and Dunstone. Dunstone's down 1 but has hammer. Sean, what do you think?
Well, it's that classic age-old battle. Well, maybe not age-old, but since the invention of the free guard zone, it's been an old battle. Would you rather be the team that's one up without last rock or the team that's one down with last? And on this ice, I would feel a little bit more comfortable in Evan's situation. You've got that lead, and as much as we've got a lot of points on the board, it's not like it's been real easy to set up the deuces. In fact, most of the big scores that have come up on this board, it's been mistakes. If you play mistake free, it's hard to set up a deuce on this ice.
That said, Evans also had the savior hits in his pocket.
Yeah.
So, this looks like double corner. Bit surprised for double corner when you're only really trying to get a 2.
You know you're playing against a team that's willing to walk up and peel the corners, so you maybe feel like you need 2 to get started.
Sure, you can afford to lose a few rocks, I get that. Evans doing, as you said, crowd in the middle, trying to make Dunstone be defensive and play through that path. Does he throw a second guard, or is he just going to try to put them in the house now?
It would be tempting, I think, here to throw the second guard. You come into the house, and Dunstone's going to run the guard straight back, and he might kill all 3. Just needs to curl. They had to give it a little bit of brush to get the curl. They got the 3 guards in a row, or the 3 green rocks in a row. They got second guard, but the first 2 were a little closer together than they might like. Maddie thinking they're going to play the freeze on the shot stone for now. EJ Harnden on the out turn. Rushers were waiting for a line call. They've been off and on. They know the weight's close. Comes down, nudges it just a little bit, but stays on that good angle. It's a good spot. Jason being asked to come down, get to the inside corner of that stone. Keep plugging up that middle. Both brushes working it. Want to get right to the face of the yellow one. Inside the edge of it a little bit if they could. They're going to get right to the face. Still leaves it angled to go onto the green shot stone.
Well, that's a lot of green down the middle.
It is, but the angle's right now not bad for Dunstone, and still hoping to set up one more angle. You could do it either way. You could freeze half on that green stone in the 8-foot, and then because of the drag, everything's queued up to kill the 2 greens.
Seems tempting.
You could play the intern too. You could play the intern and quarter free shot rock and have it from both sides.
This is the one they've been playing. Leaving the intern just for, hey, I need that later.
Yeah, maybe. Well, and the end's been played this way. They know this spot.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that was I thought a little more pop than he had on the first one.
We'll say he slid an arrow.
Could be.
When you've curled as much as EJ, there's a reason for it. We're going to go with that. All right, so they're trying to just weld this on to make a real nice angle for a potential future double takeout. Little separation. Well, now, that's a pair of nicely frozen yellows. I'm seeing visions of heat and lots of green things leaving. I think Evan is as well, because he wants to change those angles.
Yeah, he wants to change the angles just a little bit. You get to the nose of that one, tap it back a little bit. So what's going to happen is you're going to get the first green stone is going to angle better on the second yellow stone. And if you get to the nose, the angle on the first 2 should be good, because that yellow is going to pop out to the right as we look at Evan just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Evan's no stranger to this, being a mixed doubles player. Manage the angles. And this doesn't have to be weight. You're probably just looking for a heavy draw.
Yeah, not even all that heavy. Like back 4-ish.
Well, the sweepers are both on it quick.
Much, much, much tighter coming by the front.
Looking a little bit on the light side, maybe. Oh, he's passed. Boink.
That's perfect.
That was a great shot. Kudos to the sweepers. They got it past and made an excellent shot out of it. Okay, Master Dunstone has to readjust the angles, but how do you get away with that?
Well, he might be looking at playing weight this time. Counting on some drag.
Theory being you can drag that first yellow kind of straight back into the green.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure you can't get it past the green and play the yellow green in the 4-foot too, which wouldn't be the end of the world.
So as long as that
pop
yellow
everything
drags down and hits something, you're pretty happy.
Yeah. And I do think
kind
he
of
wants to keep the shooter behind the corner. I was thinking control, but with that broom, I don't think they're playing much more than bumper.
That's kind of where I was at too with that. I don't normally play drag weight hits with board weight, but hey, seems to be working for them. Unless to the point they're just going to bust up all the ankles. Not a heavy sweep, so they seem to like it. Not the way we spec'd it out.
It gives them better angles again, though.
Yes, it does. Those greens are in a very straight line. Yellows are all accessible, for good or for bad. Evan doesn't like the fact that the yellows are accessible.
No, talking about the guard.
So if Evan chops off this side of the house, is Dunstone going to let him get away with it? Oh, there we go.
I think Dunstone's running something back after that. He may not run it back hard, but I think he's running something back. The yellow-green angle is just too good. Hard to take it away without staggering. You'd have to play something into stagger somehow or another.
Mm-hmm. Kind of looks like you could go straight back with the greens and get a bunch of green ones moving. If you did it brilliantly, you might leave at least one yellow behind. But this short yellow into green, possibly drag into the other green, is not good for Van Amsterdam. There is, of course, the in-turn draw side for a potential 2 that they've been leaving open the whole time.
I think most of this conversation is about what are they playing. Like, the only shot that I've seen them really discuss, like they're talking about options, but they've talked about playing for themselves is the guard. And I think all these other angles that they're looking at are, well, what is he playing if we play the guard? And if he makes one of these other shots, now the guard's in your way.
Exactly. Is there any play where you go back into the house and just jiggle things a little more?
You know, if I'm looking at the in-turn, if you could get to that green at the top of the 12-foot and chisel it into the yellow, but then where does your shooter end up? You could end up leaving a double onto the one in the button. It'd have to be more than draw. You'd have to be making sure you were rolling to the back of the house. And it's iffy whether it's there or not. If that green had gotten pushed just a little bit farther, I think I'd be playing on that.
Sure. They've elected to go with the guard, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of broom tapping. This seems like the shot. They're putting it right in kind of the upper corner of that black logo. This is curling a little too much, but they got the line. Leave it high, it's fine.
Yeah, you knows that though, and it's still.
So now, this is that one that Van Amsterdam was identifying, that kind of yellow angle into the pile.
Yep. I don't know if you play that here. They're We're going to call timeout. Your third's last stone here. If you play it here and you don't make it, what do you have left? Now he's he certainly expects he's going to make contact with something.
It does seem a bit early to chase that one. It's always going to be there.
The problem is the green guard, to make anything off the guard that he just threw, it's straight back. And if you just miss it a sliver, you're still leaving it guarded.
Do you ever run the middle green back into back?
That I could see a scenario where green's sitting 3 after that.
Yep.
And that's not a good scenario.
No.
And just double peeling the center guards isn't great either, because then all the angles that you're exposing are green onto yellow. So I don't think he wants to peel those now. If there was a way to peel the top 2 greens without any risk of losing one of those corners, because he might need one of those corners later.
I was just going to ask, is there enough room to come around and promote that yellow one?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's playing the straight back.
All right.
This is what I was seeing before they called the guard, and that's why it's good that the guard's as high as it is. They've made the shot as tough as they could.
All right, so we're looking at basically straight back with the green to catch the yellow into the green, and theory has it could actually get the second green also moving out of the 4-foot.
It could. It's hard to know exactly how it's going to come off. I mean, it could also touch the yellow. It's not going to throw this real hard, I wouldn't think.
Let your sweepers have a chance. Well, they needed to come up. Close. Well, that wasn't quite how they scripted it, but they managed to get a lot more room and one green out of the way.
Yeah.
You're sitting, what would you say, 2, 4, 6? That green pair is very doubleable, though. So that's a different conundrum for Van Amsterdam.
Well, I think green's sitting 2 right now. And what I see is he's got to freeze the pocket. They're going to call timeout and talk about it, but
it does seem like a smart place to put it, because that pair of greens is just not good for Van Amsterdam at this moment. Freeze the pocket, push yours back a little bit.
Yeah, you could do that, because if you push yours back a little bit, you can probably get a little bit angled onto the yellow.
Mm-hmm. It seems like the smart play here. I don't know if I love the idea of the bottom green one getting moved over any. That's the one potential downside of pushing the first green.
Yeah.
So you really got to catch that thin.
Got to get to the inside for sure.
Well, it looks like what they're going with is something into that pocket. You could put a right dead in the pocket. You could jiggle the top yellow and green a little bit, but right in that center pack.
Yeah, you can't really see it from the overhead if you look at as we look into the house. Keep in mind that yellow stone, it's still guarded. Like, they can't get at it directly.
No.
Dunstone.
Yeah.
Like, Van Amsterdam doesn't need to. He's content to get to this pocket. The yellow green would be a good angle for Dunstone if he could get to it. I don't think he can get to it.
All right, well, let's see what they got here. We're looking for dead cold draw, top 4. If they love it enough, they could jiggle things. We got Jason holding it out early. Parker getting ready to make a little bit of a move if necessary. We're past the first guard. It's walking over. They're certainly holding the line like they want to hit their green one. And there you go. Now we're back at that long angle.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they're looking at hitting it the same way. He's looking at heading into the green that was just thrown. I'd be looking to put it into the yellow like that and just worry about killing the 2 greens that are biting the button. You still got to have to figure out how you're going to score 2, but right now you better worry about being able to score it all. Yeah, if you don't move the stone off the top of the button on this one, you may not have a shot for your last one at all.
So, we're getting up in the the complexity and difficulty factor, but we're looking for about a 45-degree angle. Slam it into, in our book, preferably the yellow one.
Yeah, 48 degrees, I think. 45 might be a little off, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't pack my protractor. Oh, you're right. That's a little steeper. It depends if you're going for the green or the yellow.
Probably closer to about 52, yeah.
All right. And then hit the yellow, hit the green, hit something, and hope for at least 2 greens to move.
Yeah, that one on the top of the button needs to move here.
Well, they must be close. Ooh, too thin. Skins it over the top of everything and hits a useless little green over on the far side, and has now left himself very little over there. There is a
he can come off the green into the
yeah.
yellow, and but it's only going to be for 1 because that green at the top of the 4-foot, you're never getting rid of it.
So is that what Evan says I don't want you to have? Because he's got choices now. What does he want to take away? Kind of like he's thinking on the same page. That green is the best rock Matt Dunstone has to use. You know you're in a decent place when you're taking out your own rock just to remove options. So we've seen Evan with some glorious hits to save the game, and now we're going for a simple hit to secure the game. Let's see what we got. Parker with the broom down.
Needs to roll out on this as well. That's the whole point. Doesn't care if he loses one of the ones at the back. Doesn't.
There you go. Gets rid of the green. There's no angle over there at all. So what are you seeing, Sean?
I'm seeing double green guards into trying to triple the 3 out of the 4-foot for the win.
I was half expecting you to say I'm seeing handshakes, but that's okay.
No, it's green onto green. Come back, get it a little bit over the top of the one in the top of the 4-foot with some big weight and a little bit of action. If you can touch 2 of the ones at the top of the 4-foot, that one at the or 2 of the ones touching the button, the one at the top of the button should be spinning, or top of the 4 should be spinning after he hits those 2.
So
I'm saying there's a chance.
So in the scorebook, we're putting this down as double raise run back triple.
Yeah.
Or I guess run back quadruple. Let's call it that one because it sounds more glorious.
Sure.
Double raise run back quad.
And what I will grant is I think the angle's there to actually make it.
I believe it's there. Your margin of error is a 0.5 millimeter, but hey, you just got to make it. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you hit the yellow one.
Yeah, he didn't hit the right combination of rocks. He made the right number move, but
all right. So Van Amsterdam steals 1 in the 8th end. Fascinating and an exciting 8th end. And he takes the 7-5 victory over Matt Dunstone in the quarterfinal to move on to Sunday morning. Feel free to watch Curling Zone on other channels or check the scoreboard to see who else has moved on. And we will see you all in the morning.
Live curling rocks. And this November, the best in the world are coming to Tahoe. Get your seats now at gsoctickets.com. But hurry, early bird pricing ends soon.